In this week's episode of Working with Todoist, it's about getting your goals working for you. Hello and welcome to another episode of Working with Todoist. My name is Pullein, and in this week's episode I've got a slightly longer episode for you because what I wanted to do was put together a video to show you how you can get your goals into Todoist, and more importantly how to develop the right habits so that you achieve those goals. So it's going to go into quite a lot of depth and quite a lot of detail about how to set up the tasks, how to set up the projects, and to get it all bringing together so that you can turn all those ideas, all those goals that you've been developing over the last few weeks into achieved goals. Okay. Before we move any further though, I would like to wish you all a very, very happy new year. And if you like this video, please click on that like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe. Okay, let's go into Todoist for this slightly longer episode. And I'll show you how to set up your goals for 2019. Okay, what I've done is I've created a special folder in my projects. Now I'm using my real Todoist for this example, so all the one that matters is goals. Now to be fair, you can put goals anywhere you like within your order. You can have it under routines. I would normally put my goals up at the top. Now to be honest, there are a couple ways of doing this. What you can do is you can create sub-projects inside here, and you can just add, let's say, add a project below, and I'll just say blog because I'm going to give you an example of blog. And we can create another one below that, and we'll say health and fitness, because I know most people have some kind of health and fitness goal each year. And what I want to do is I want to move that inside, so we can just drag it in like this, and we'll drag that one in like that. Oops, I sometimes have this problem. Let's get back and just drag that in. There we go. So now we've got our goals, which is here, and we've got them set up. Now this is usually the best way to develop your goals when you're developing goals, is to do it from the actual main goals area. So we can close my projects there so we're not being distracted. So let's start and look at the first one. Now what we're looking for is to develop the right kind of habit. So we'll start with health and fitness first. Now let's say that your goal is to lose weight. Now one of the ways to lose weight obviously is to track your weight. So we'll create a tab, take weight reading every. Now when I used to do this every Friday. So we'll type in every Friday. And because this is part of a goal, I'm going to give that a P1 because I want that to be really important. So on every Friday, that's going to come up as P1. Now, for those of you, if you wish, you can actually say every Friday at 7 a.m. But for me, just using the P1 flag means I'm going to see that first thing in the morning when I review my task. So essentially that's all I need to do. Now you can add a label, and I know I have a label, so I'm going to add a label. P1 space, and I'm going to add a label at home because I know this is going to be done at home. And as soon as I hit return, that's going to come up as, oops, we didn't get the red flag. I just go back and now save, and now we've got the red flag. So that's one of the first things you want to do. Now, the other one is you can do, now I'm going to be perfectly honest here, for my own personal exercise schedule, I actually schedule this on my calendar because it varies on a week-to-week basis depending on what's happening on a specific day. So what we're going to do though is, just for the purposes of this demonstration, you could actually create another task. So exercise, and I do like to go have an action verb, so very simple action verb, do exercise. Again, because this is a goal, I'm going to make that a P1 task, and I'm going to do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And so we've got those in there, and I would normally exercise at home, but you may have a location, say the gym, which I would create a label, the gym, whatever you want to do. And essentially that's all I need. So I hit return there. I've got my do exercise, which is going to come up every Friday, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And of course you can put in as many days as you want. Now the key here is we're trying to develop the habit, because the only way to achieve goals is to turn the actual action steps that you need to do into a habit. So once you know that every Monday, Wednesday and Friday you're doing exercise, then you can do exercise on that. Now let's go into a slightly different type of New Year's resolution. Let's say that you actually wanted to start a blog. Now this one is a little bit more involved. Health and fitness and getting exercise, that's fairly straightforward, and we all have our ways of doing that. So we're going to start off with a task. I'm going to start a task is add ideas for topics to my Evernote note. Now I'm going to show you how to do this in a moment. It's not really about Evernote, but this is something that you want to do. So I'm going to do this. Could be I'm going to call this. Actually, this will be creative. I have a creative label. So for me, coming up with ideas is creative. I'm going to pick that a P2 task because I want that to come, and that's essentially it. Now, what I want to be doing in the first month is I want to be adding ideas for topics for my blog post every single day. So I'm going to put this every day. I'm going to create this as a task for every day to come up in my thing. The main reason for that is when you're starting out with a blog, and I know this from my own personal experience, is that you've got to be remembering to be capturing the ideas, capturing topic ideas. So you want to be creating that. So we're going to hit that as a return. Now, what I want to do is I want to create this in Evernote. So here I have a new note in Evernote, and I'm going to call that blog post ideas. Can't spell again. Well, actually I can spell, but so we're going to create a list here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a target list. So I'm not sure what we're writing a blog about actually, but let's say we're writing a blog about my health and fitness routine. So clothing I bought and why, and where I exercise, how I feel at the end of the first week. So we've got to create a few lists there. Now the key here, because you want to make this as easy as you possibly can. Now the key here is to hit the title of your thing and control click. Now what you'll see is copy note link. That's not the one that you want. What you want to do, now this is on a Mac, now there is another way of doing this on Windows, and I think we've covered this many times before. I'll put a link in the show notes as to how to do this because I don't have a Windows computer, but what you do on a Mac is you hit command, actually you don't, you hit option key, and it says copy classic note link. Copy that. Okay, now you can do this with any application, by the way. If you're using Microsoft's OneNote, you can do it there. So we'll go back into our original topic, and what I want to do is I'm going to put brackets round my Evernote, my task here, and what you want to do is you're going to make sure you got a space in there, and then I'm going to hit paste. And when I hit save, what you're going to see is I get this wonderful Evernote logo right here, the Evernote logo. Now what's going to happen is when I click on this now, that's going to take me to the note directly, and that's fantastic because now I can just add notes from one click in my Todoist. So that's the first thing that you want to be doing. Now there's another way of doing this, so let's sort of say writing. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this project down. So what we'll do is we hit these hang on, well, no, what we're going to do is we're going to put the asterisk. And of course you can use the colon if you wish, but I'm old school, I use the asterisk. So what we're going to do is blog post creation, and I'm going to type that. So now that's what I call a non-completable task, and so we're going to keep this simple now. Write first draft of blog post. Now, the reason I put, instead of just putting write first draft, is the problem with that is first draft of what? Now, when you're scanning a list, you're not necessarily looking at the side to see which project it's related to. You're not necessarily looking at anything other than what the task says. So I like to make the task very, very clear. So write first draft of blog post. Now I'm going to do that. That's writing, so I know I've got a label writing. I'm going to do that every Monday. Again, remember, we're trying to develop habits. Now, I would also put a P2 flag there, and I'm going to hit return. So that's going to come up every single Monday. Then we're going to, of course, we've got to edit blog post draft. And again, that's writing. And now this is actually what I do for my blog post. I do that every Tuesday, and I'm going to call that P2 because it's obviously important. And I'm going to add that task, and then post. We can now do things like select image for this week's blog post. And again, I'm going to probably do that on either Monday or Tuesday. So we'll put that for Tuesday just for this example. And so and that's a creative task for me. Of course, you're going to have your own labels. I'm going to call that P2. I'm going to do that every Tuesday. Now, here's something that you might want to do. I get all my images from a website called Pexels. So what I will do is I'm going to create a clickable link to the Pexels website. So what I would do is I would, again, put this in brackets, either side of that. I'm going to go to the front, and we're going to paste the website link. So now I have a link. Now, because this is just a direct web link, you don't get a nice logo at the front, but that means every time I hit that, it's going to take me straight to my image source, if you like. So it just saves a lot of time when we're doing that. So this is how you can start creating your goals list. Now, the whole purpose of this is to create habits. Once you've created the habit, I would probably move out the blog post into my areas of focus, because that's what I would do. But when I'm starting a new goal, the key is to create something that's going to keep me accountable every single week, as I would be doing a blog post. But if you were trying to write every day, of course, you would change the creation of the dates. But that is basically how you can use Todoist to start creating your blog post. Now, of course, up here, you might need to create another task. So let's say, for example, you need to create the blog. So, so you could create a non-completable task called blog creation. What I would actually do is I would drag this up to the top here. I think ideas would definitely come into that, but I would add a task on this one. So for example, research. So research blog sites, and I would have read review. I've got research there, and I would actually start setting dates for that. So I would do that, say Saturday, and that would be done like that, and I would just drag that underneath there. Where are we? Drag that underneath there. I want to drag that underneath here. Okay, so there is another way of doing that. If it's not going to work for you, by the way, you can just hit Command and forward arrow, and that will drag it in, and that creates my link there. So I've not quite done this right, but if I close that up, I can actually move this up here. Oops, we're doing this all wrong. Oh dear. Drag that out, move that down to there. And again, what I'm going to do is just hit the Command forward arrow, bring that in, and that's blog post creation. Blog creation, and I'll just drag that up at the top, because that's going to be the most important thing that I would do before we start doing. So this is how you can develop your goals using Todoist. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have any questions at all, please add a comment in the comment section below, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very happy new year and a very, very productive week. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw and you would like to learn more about becoming better organized and more productive, then get yourself enrolled in my free beginner's guide to creating your own COD system. And if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you, then visit my website at carlpullein.com. All the details are in the show notes below.